Yesterday's conspiracy theories, tomorrow's headlines. Most are still asleep and I ain't talking about no bedtime. The truth is not a Google search, you need to get your head right. The Greek goddess of illusion was called Media and I'm not a coincidence theorist, I look for thread lines. Smashing every deadline, no longer smashing red wine. Though I can hear the bells chime, it feels like the end times. That probably should have been smashed on red wine, but the carnal mind is foolish. Obey and end up ghoulish. Don't get used by instinct, take control and learn to use it. Make a load of earnest music, earn a few quid, learn a few tricks. Sure, the truth is persecuted, this whole world is pure abusive. Know a bit about everything and everything about nothing. Figured out my noggin while you picture out shopping. You sit about watching while I dish it out. Stop it, I don't mean to sound cocky, I'm not even proud of it. It's a second nature to me, just to be this out honest. I don't even need to sound honest, never been about profit. Everything but out on it, you can bet your house on it. Doubt I'll be out for the count when the sounds, and I'm down for the beat, no beat down. I mean, how long's it been? Help me out. I've been the only one who's held me down. All in the mind, hell freeze now. Still sick with it, healthy how? Few bars down and the world freaked out. I don't reach out, I seek out to speak out. I'ma recount the reasons they beat out. I'm not the way, no way. I have seen the way. Yeah. Speak, repeat, there's no way.
Welcome everybody to the 509 Divine Pines podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Daniel Pena. It is May 18th, 2026. It is 9:36. Yeah, man, we are on the power of 369 right now. Literally, I got that written down on my wall, and ever since I started writing that down on my wall, my life has gone extremely positive. And it seems like the universe is working its favors and working its blessings, and there are blessings to be made, blessings to be found. I hope you guys are getting your blessings this year, whatever way you can. Pray, operate in a better frequency, align yourself up with the stars. However you may get to success, get there. Please like, subscribe, and share. Tell everybody around that this is going down. Tonight, we got Wembenyama, aliens, and Bigfoot. They must all be related, like, straight up. Have you seen that man, Wembenyama? Have you seen that man? That dude's an alien, bro. That dude is a beast. But if you guys could, please go over and check out my sponsors down below. Go to WGG for a natural, very powerful, clean energy drink powder. You can use coupon code 509 Divine Pines. This energy drink powder will get you right. It'll get you in the morning, it'll get you at night. If you're gaming, if you're working, if you just want some clean fuel for the gym and you don't want to get all jacked up on pre-workout, take out your phone, your computer, go to WGG.com and use coupon code 509 Divine Pines. They have gaming collaborations. So all my gamers out there who really enjoy some cool art, some cool collabs, please, you guys will definitely like them. I love them. The flavors are off the hook. They got so many different flavors. I actually lose track of, wait, this one, oh, what? This is so bomb. This one's bomb too. It really is. They got dozens of flavors. I support them because they're clean. They don't use fake BS, and you guys can benefit when you guys use that coupon code and you guys get clean fuel in you. Also, go over to Divine Light Codes, please. You will get crystals, you will get frankincense, myrrh, you will get healing modalities. You could also reach out to Sherry Ariano over at Divine Light Codes and get in touch with your healing. If you have questions about your spiritual life, if you have things you're going through that you just seem like you need a helping hand or alignment or someone who's spiritually grounded, Sherry Ariano will help you out. And she has a lot of cool stories, a lot of amazing experiences as she's traveling to conventions and seminars, and sharing her work. You go over to Divine Light Codes and you can use coupon code 509 Divine Pines. All right, guys, let's get into this. So Wembenyama, we're gonna check these stats, man. This is insane. All right, right now here. So Wembenyama is like a 7'10" center, 8'10". I think he's 9 feet tall. He's not 9 feet. He's like 8'6" or something, dude. Crazy. All right. So this man, he playing 48 minutes as a center. And you know what? Most centers these days, they might check in with 40. They might go down to 35. A lot of centers don't really play that full game anymore. This man, 41 points. 41 points. All right, cool. That's incredible. Wait, there's more. 24 boards. You gotta be you just gotta be like amazed with this man. If you were watching it, I was watching the game. If you were watching the game, you might have had the same experiences and reactions I was having. I was like, WTF, bro? Like, what? I was losing my mind just off the things that he was doing, the hustle plays he was making. And look, I'm a 76ers fan, but I'm a fan of ball. I'm a fan of game. And dog, this Wembenyama, this dude's gonna be a legend if he stays healthy. If he continues to dominate the way he's dominating, he should have won MVP. But whatever, SGA, flop, flop, flop. Right? Oh man, 24 boards. That shit is insane. So let's just put it like this: 24 times down the court, hypothetically, right? 24 possessions he took control of. They missed a shot. His team missed a shot. The opponents missed a shot. He took control of 24 possessions single-handedly. 3 assists. That's pretty good. You know, good center play. 3 assists. 1 steal. Oh man. All right. You know, like this dude's getting his hands into everything. 3 blocks, dude. Just come on, padding the stats. He also had 3 turnovers and 4 personal fouls. So the rebound percentage was 9 offensive rebounds and 15 defensive boards. Wembenyama ended up with a plus 16, and I'ma just say I'm a big fan of this man, dude. I'm a huge fan of Victor Wembanyama. He's a Christian. He wears the cross. Um, he comes from France, and he doesn't abide and like the, let's just say, the American Zionist movement and the funders and the people over there on the other side. Because if you know, France and Israel hate each other. So Wembenyama isn't really gonna suck up. You know, he's blessed straight up by the French royalty, probably by the Vatican and stuff. We're gonna continue on to show you exactly this clip right here. This is the epitome of exactly who this man is. Let me go ahead and pull the audio up for you guys though, because oh my god. So I had my mic on mute. Hello everybody. Hey, hello. Thank you guys for being here. Please like, subscribe, and share. Tell everybody around that this is going down. So the first 5 minutes, I actually had my mic on mute. I apologize. So we will go ahead and get into this now. Woo! Victor Wembanyama, aliens, and Bigfoot are all related. They must be, right? They straight up must be all related. Like, there's no way, no how that you cannot say that Victor Wembanyama and the rest of these the rest of these superstars don't have some alien connections, man. I mean, LeBron was the first one, right? But Wembenyama now, here, check this out. This dude, this is headed overtime, right? to tie the game. Maybe. Oh my god, dude. This dude's 7'6". Insane, bro. Insane. I just had the stat line for Wembenyama, and I will tell you that there is a there is insane work by this man, bro. There's insane work. I'm a huge fan of Victor Wembanyama, and look, I'll be honest, like I'm a 76ers fan, but I'm a fan of basketball and I'm a fan of athleticism. And right here, oh, dude, this is probably one of the funnest things to witness. I've seen great players on the basketball court, but Victor Wembanyama seems like an alien. So 48 minutes at a 7'6" center. All right, that's really impressive. 41 points. Dude, you joking me? 41 points. So, all right, man, this 7'6" center is dropping a 40 burger. Oh, my God. 14 of 25 field goals. Better than SGA tonight. Supposed MVP. Then you got 24 rebounds. Dude, 24 rebounds. That's 24 times he's taken control of the floor. 24 times that he has taken control of possessions. This is definitely insane. We got 3 assists. We have 1 steal. We have 3 blocks. We have 15 defensive rebounds. So just think about that. SGA missed about 15 times, and Victor Wembanyama cleaned them all up. We had 9 offensive boards. Man, so Wembanyama had more offensive rebounds than his whole team, right? This is insane right here. I personally believe that Victor Wembanyama, if he stays healthy, he will go down as one of the greatest ever to play. It's gonna be like a Wilt Chamberlain, and how Wilt Chamberlain for 50 years pretty much just solidified his legacy. And I'm all for it. I am all for it. So while Victor Wembanyama is here, I might just get a jersey. I don't know, man. Those fucking plays that he's making, bro, I support that, because you see him on the court too. He is hustling, bro, hustling. There's raw effort. He's fighting like he's an NBA legend, NBA vet, tenure in the league. He's going against all the superstars and talking shit. Look, I know he's from France, and France kind of stinks, but France does not really play with this whole oh, I want to be an American. So Victor Wembanyama is coming over here, and he's not trying to be an American. He's being a real Frenchman. He's being a true blood basketball player, straight up, no doubt, baller. And politically, Victor Wembanyama is a Christian, so he's standing up for what's right. He's wearing a cross. I've seen it. I've seen it in a picture. I know France has problems with like Israel and the American Zionism and stuff. So like you're not gonna see Victor Wembanyama sell out, and he's not gonna be like this puppet for the league. So I'm just amazed by Victor Wembanyama and the way he plays, the heart he gives. He's pretty inspirational. I'll be honest. Victor Wembanyama is extremely inspirational. But we're gonna go on to some real aliens now, as if Wembanyama isn't a real alien, right? Here's Representative Anna Paulina Luna. revealing what she saw in the SCIF. So I'm gonna rewind this. Let's go ahead. I do got to get the. Well, I think the audio is up for you. So wait, no, it's not. Let me get this audio up for you guys. That way, everybody can hear at home.
There are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion. Again, but there has been a declassification order from the president, and you will see as soon as that stuff comes up.
So do you think that the American public's going to be super surprised when this comes out, or is it going to be a bit of a nothing burger?
Well, I don't think it'll be a nothing burger, but we're not going to tell the American people what to make of it. But I think, when again you saw my last hearing that I did with the task force where there was some footage that was entered into the archive, and it's pretty shocking for people.
If you had to just make a decision now about whether there really were, I guess, aliens moving among us with their strange machines that have all sorts of powers, do you think that's plausible?
I don't call them aliens, and I don't know what these things are that they're using, right? But I think that there's stuff that we have witnessed as members of Congress, been briefed on, that we cannot explain. And I will leave it at that because that's going to be coming out soon. And I think that the American people will have many of their questions answered.
I think there's a lot of powerful people in the government right now who are stepping up, and like I don't mean powerful by money, I mean like voices and image, because our voice and our image is also very powerful, and some of these people know it, like Anna Paulina Luna, some of these other people who are coming out in the UFO disclosure field. Even Elon Musk, you could tell that he understands his power in voice and image. And like it doesn't matter if we are the ones to actually change things, if we are the ones to lead the change. We could just be part of it by speaking out and leading other people to come together and collaborate. And so I really think that soon this whole talk about aliens and UFOs, there's going to be a lot more proof to the pudding, and people are going to be like, whoa, okay, so their brains are going to start thinking quicker. And I just hope that this pushes humanity to come together more, just like that famous Reagan speech, where Ronald Reagan says it would be what would it take for humanity to come together? Alien invasion, would that make humanity come together and stop all their problems and look at the bigger threat? Something along those lines. And I think that's true. I think that, like, if let's just say, like, if things get real surprising or shocking or in our face, with like craft in our face or in our cities, or these guys just drop all proof, then like I do think that would make the lower and middle class come together and merge more. And it would make us be like, well, now we know who our real enemy is, so let's stop fighting with each other and let's go to our real enemy.
These fractal patterns happen in reality. And once you understand that, you kind of...
Oh, sorry, I gotta
Well, Epstein...
I'm starting from the beginning. This is a doctor who is talking about the psychoid experiments over at the Los Alamos scientists on Epstein's base. So these guys were from Los Alamos, very, very close. The psychoid later, this is wild. This is absolutely wild. So I'm going to read this and then I'll let him talk. Epstein scoops up laid off Los Alamos scientists, funds them through edge.org to crack the psychoid layer, that thin veil where the spirit realm collects in God's realm and it meets quantum reality. The double split experiment vibes, electrons acting like waves until observed money as fake energy bubbles, neurolinguistic coding that could literally rewrite the dialect of the universe. This guy's connecting Epstein's ranch labs, wave interference patterns, money as an illusion, hacking reality itself. Is this peak red pill enlightenment or the wildest conspiracy fever dream you've ever heard all week? Drop your take below. Genius level 10 or schizo level 100? This, I listened to this, and there's a lot of truth in this.
He buys up all these scientists. They get laid off down there in New Mexico, and he buys them all up and he starts hiring them. And he does it for edge.org. What they're trying to do is they're trying to solve the psychoid layer. The psychoid layer is like where you know the world is magic. Like, you know, this is a realm of God, but you forget and you go back to work to make money, to pay the bills, and you get into the toil of things, but you really know that it's a spiritual realm. But they know it's a spiritual realm. They don't have a secondary thing. They already have all the money, so they're just figuring out what the psychoid is. So the way that they would try to solve the psychoid is through the wave interference pattern. The wave interference pattern is where they shoot these electrons through these two slits. And as you observe the electron, it stays in physical form. But if you're not observing it, the electrons turn into waves, and the waves can split between slits. And they, whenever they go through, they bounce off each other. And then those waves bounce and those waves bounce, and it causes a wave interference pattern. That's not exact, but that's the basics behind it. Because I don't want some asshole telling me, let's roll this slightly this. I know what it is. Because the reason I know what it is because that's what they're studying. And they're studying the way that these fractal patterns happen in reality. And once you understand that, you kind of can understand that money isn't real. It's an illusion. But you believe it's real, but really it's energy. And it's these little energy bubbles that exist beyond the veil of consciousness. Beyond the veil are energy bubbles. And in the energy bubbles, they have modalities. And these modalities have codes that are not changeable. But you can project onto them through these waves and call it a submodality, which slightly changes the energy. So you're broke, you're poor, you have money, you don't have money. It's not real. And try your best. Something happens. That's the way it is. That's why you have $10,000 and you're like, saved it up. Whoops, the motor blown up. I have zero. Because it's energy. It's a flow of energy. So they want to solve that. And they also want to solve the translatory language beyond the Yoganandan dialect, this language that gets spoken, grunts and symbols from the ancient times, which form onto these modalities symbols that have entanglements, and those entanglements have emotional charge and all this stuff. And it's too much for the human mind. Like, you can see it happening, you can watch it happening, and people can walk along me and they'll be like, oh my God, that's freaking, no way that you could do that, no way. But it's just because it's just really obvious. It's really obvious. That's why I think that they're doing the aliens anyways, because if they start tampering with this stuff, you're going to see some weird stuff happening, you know? Obviously, some weird things are going to happen if somebody's messing with that kind of stuff. We already had CERN. We already have the Mandela effect. And that could be explained pretty easily through neurolinguistic coding. If you start tampering with the neurolinguistic code of the universal mind, it's the dialect. If you touch the dialect slightly, you could transform. When you change the neurolinguistics, you don't just change the moment, you change what the moment has always been and what it will be in the future. And you can just alter those things. It's just, I sometimes think maybe that's what when Jesus could see it, he already could tell. He knew it. He already knew them. He was in the psychoid all the time, because he knew he was in the psychoid. So he didn't have an illusion of a false world. He was just in the psychoid. So you would just touch on these waves. And if each wave is bumping onto each other, causing the pattern of another wave, which bounces on and causes another wave, you could just add certain submodalities to these waves. So submodalities, like a table. a table exists, but whenever I said the word table, you thought of a certain table. So I'm saying it must be a table, but you're saying it could be many types of tables. So the type of table is the submodality. So the modality could be hair. Hair, what type of hair exists? But you project onto it what type of hair it is, long or short, and that is a reflection of your inner psyche speaking to you in accordance with the entanglements of your emotional life. Your emotional life is entangled with physical reality through this and projected onto the modality in the form of a submodality. And that's just the way it really is. And it's like, it's super complicated to say, but if you just see it, you just go, yeah, it's right there. It's freaking obvious. It's like you could look at a picture and see. I always think of it like when we used to dream, we look back in our mind and we're dreaming and we're thinking and we're talking to God, we're talking to the universal mind, and we're dreaming a world, you know? But now when you dream, when you have problems, when you're solving problems, when you have a problem, you look into your phone and you put the problem into your phone and you project, and the recorder of that is no longer the universal mind. It's the AI. That's probably a lot of shit. All right, thanks for watching. Just one long video. You guys can let me have one long video, right?
Honestly, man, you got to understand that, like, we create the reality around us through our presence, actions, thoughts. We vibrate out, and there's this reality, these, the computers and the phones and the music and everything that want to destroy that reality and want to deharmonize it, deconstruct it, dematerialize it, give it false, corrupt, evil patterns. Right here on my Twitter, this is from Anatoly Kopads. The engineer who built Cloud Code just dropped a 28-minute video on how to write prompts that actually work. So there's a 28-minute Cloud CEO coverage on how to actually use his app. And if you would like, I reposted it, and so did Anatoly. Next up, $8.4 million worth of cocaine discovered in Kim Kardashian's underwear brand shipment. Oh my God. Look, Skims is definitely not skimping. So that's a lot of coke. Fuck. Kim Kardashian definitely looks like she does rails off dicks. Definitely. She has to. Probably Ray J's, Kanye's, Yay Yay's, anything with a Yay Yay. A Yay? Him too. I don't even know who it is, but you bet. Like, no hate. She's hot, beautiful, but she's also a thought. So it is what it is. Next step. Remember the Miami Mall alien incident at the Bayside Marketplace when Miami Police Department sent over 1,000 cops for supposed teenager ruckus? Well, that's all being exposed day by day, week by week by everybody around who had all their lights shut off, had their phones taken, had the FAA had grounded all planes. Seemingly there was weird electrical interference for like 10 blocks. They made sure nobody could get in or out. News coverage was definitely kept out. Isn't that strange? Wouldn't you think that if there was an actual fight at a mall, including a whole bunch of teens, they'll be like, yo, KMA or Fox, CNN, go now. Send your teams. Like it's Ron Burgundy, right? They would send them over there because that's what gets the news riling. That's what gets the money. That's what news typically covers. Oh, local fight by teens started and blah, 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 blah. And, they typically make it racist too. And, well, there was no coverage. There was none of what the police department said. So all of their shit was a lie. Here though, this was this is from a forum from a officer that had to go unknown in AWOL, um, which matches up with what everybody else in the city was saying. And I mean this, everybody else in the city and surrounding areas, there was like 10,000 people affected by this one incident because why are our phones getting shut off? Why is the power out? Why are the planes grounded? What's happening? Why are houses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks away all being affected? Well, there's some alien shit going on. This is gonna be a longer read. Um, oh my god, they would have the word small. Okay, so I was a responding officer during the Bayside Mall incident, or to some of you, you might know it as the Miami Mall alien incident. Along those lines, I've told absolutely no one at all, not officially, not even my wife. I would have been putting her in danger if I did, but that wasn't a problem anymore. I won't go into useless detail on why, but it just doesn't matter anymore if I talk about this. All I ever told her about that day was that there was crowd panic, nothing serious. Just told the same old story that the news went with. Just dumbass teenagers setting off fireworks, drunk as shit, starting fights with people, and they caused a mass panic. That's what the leaders of the you know cops. So that's what they're told to say. That comes down from like mayors and masons. Um, that's what was wrote on the report that everybody signed. He's saying I've signed a lot of bullshit in my years, but that one felt like it was swallowing a razor. I was already downtown the night before the incident happened. I got a call real early because of the fireworks complaint and crowd noise. It was New Year's after all, and Bayside gets rowdy for those who don't know. It isn't the kind of place you'd swing by to casually relax. I was posted just a block off Baycane when the first 911 report called. The call was pretty garbled, to tell the truth. Someone just ranting about something, people collapsing in the food court. I think there was a middle-aged woman. They sent me and my patrol partner Torres in to check out what was happening. Dispatch just kept calling it a disturbance when talking to us, but something in the voice didn't match the language. She sounded off somehow, but I'm not sure fully how to explain it. The calm, too calm, or maybe too slow. The officer picked it up pretty quick too. We joked about it at first. Maybe dispatch had one too many mimosas, he said, but the joke didn't land. The closer we got, the quieter the city felt. I didn't I don't mean the usual the lull between fireworks. I mean quiet, like the sound had been scooped out of the air. If you live here, you know this is a busy ass place, so total absence is strange. I remember waking up at the steps into the plaza and seeing kids running, but not screaming. Some of them looked like they didn't even know why they were running. Others were frozen in place, twitching like they were glitching out, eyes wide, mouths open, like they wanted to scream but forgot how. He stayed closer to the officer and by him, and they went to the edge of the crowd. That's when he saw the first body that day. The guy was male, maybe mid-20s at most so I'm reading it now from his perspective. What I could tell, he was slumped against a pillar, like he sat down and just never got back up again. His hands were covered in blood, but not from any wounds I could see. It was like just I don't know, leaked out of his skin maybe. He had some on his face too, so maybe he used his hands to try and stop a nosebleed or something. I leaned into him and checked him for a pulse. He was cold, but his eyes were open and not like dead open either. It honestly looked like he was still awake, like he died mid thought. I remember all of this so vividly, every single little detail, because it's all I can think about anymore. When you think about something that much, you can't just help but retain those small details. The moment I radioed for backup, my comms crackled. I'd heard a crackle of static followed by then high pitched E tone you get before feedback. Except it didn't stop. It dug into my jaw like dental drills and really made my teeth hurt. The voice came through and it was kind of distorted. Seems strange because there would usually never be any kind of interference around here, and our equipment is checked thoroughly before shifts. The officer said, "Don't come up here," but the feed died before I could confirm with him. I looked around. That's when I noticed glass. The storefronts, every last one of them, was covered in this fine film, like condensation, but wrong. It looked more like the inside of a freezer after the door's been left open too long. Some of them had patterns forming in the fog, swirls and spirals, looking like math symbols, like fingerprints made by something that didn't have fingerprints. The people still inside were standing. By now, they weren't hiding or screaming or anything like that. They were just standing. Some of them looked like they were focused on something. Where is it at? Oh, here it is. Oh, like they were listening to something. One woman was mouthing words I couldn't hear. She was smiling like she was praying. Blood was pouring out of both ears. I started towards the escalator when I heard this deep droning sound. It wasn't anything mechanical, it was organic, but it was too big and too deep to ever be made by a human. It came from inside the floor, not below the floor, but inside it. Then the lights flickered and dimmed. Everything shifted like a depth perception trick. You know when your eyes adjust to darkness, but it takes a while and you suddenly realize there's a shape in the corner of the room once they have. It was like that, but all over. The air went heavy, my bones hurt. I saw something then. I didn't see the thing everyone else keeps talking about. I didn't see the 10-foot alien or whatever exactly. What I saw was the space around the alien and the creature trying not to be affected by its presence. It was like light was avoiding the spot it was standing in, and space actually bent around the thing. It was like gravity, or didn't know what to do with it. I only caught a glimpse. It was tall, but not in the big guy way. It was wrong in every proportion. Its movements was like frame skipping in a video, first here, then forward, then even further. It didn't walk in any kind of way, but just kept skipping forward like that. I never saw it move fluidly. At one point, I thought there were two of them. Then I realized I was seeing it from multiple angles at the same time. I don't know how to explain it or how the fuck that is possible, but that is what I saw. Officer Torres came stumbling down the escalator all on his own. His face was pale. There was a wet stain down one leg. If I wasn't scared out of my mind and the fact that I might have done it too, I would have just made a joke about him pissing his pants. He didn't make eye contact with me when he first reached the floor. He just kept whispering, "It said my name. It said my name. It said my name," over and over. I tried to help him outside the floor just to get him some fresh air or something, but he jerked back suddenly and clawed at his own neck. He ripped his radio right out and smashed it on the tile. I tried to calm him, but he kept screaming, "I won't answer. I won't answer." That's when two men came in. Let me be clear. These guys were not cops or not EMS or anything of the sort. They were wearing black coats with no patches on. They were also wearing earpieces. One of them flashed a badge to me, but not a badge I've ever seen. Normally, I would have contested this or stopped them, but I had bigger fish to fry with my partner and losing his mind, and I alone had no chance of controlling the situation at hand. These guys didn't even glance at the bodies. One of them just pointed at Torres and said, "He's not viable." They started walking towards me and Torres, telling him they needed to help him. It just felt like everyone that day had lost their damn minds. I told them to back the fuck up or I'll shoot unless they properly identified themselves. But a third guy that I didn't see coming and grabbed me from behind before I could draw my firearm. One of the others injected something into the officer's neck. He went limp immediately. There was no spasm or resistance from him. I could do nothing but watch. They didn't tell me who they were exactly, just that they were my superiors. More cops arrived on scene not long after this happened. My superiors, and they backed up their story. This calmed me down and shut me up real fucking quick. If they had come out here for this, I knew I was in deep shit. They told me I was to leave through the east entrance and that I only had this one chance. They told me not to look back and I was lucky to be given a second chance. One of them pressed a packet onto my chest, said, "Read it, sign it, destroy it." It told me that there would be follow-ups from my superiors shortly. I didn't argue with them at this time. They walked me just past at least 20 people who looked dead on their feet, except they were standing. One guy's eyes were bleeding down his cheeks. Another was biting the edge of his own hand hard enough to tear. Not one of them looked away from the center of the mall. When I passed the food court, I saw a girl sitting cross-legged on the table, maybe 10 years old, no shoes, just humming to herself. There was blood on her face, but I don't know if it was hers or not. She was holding something in her lap, but I couldn't make out what it was. Whatever it was also covered in blood. I got outside and threw up behind a squad car. Everything in my body was shaking like I was coming down from something or about to go into shock. I tried to radio in again, but it was a dead channel, just that constant high where just a constant high whine under the static again. I pressed the panic code twice, nothing happened. The air outside didn't feel right either. I heard footsteps behind me and turned fast. It was one of the men in the black coats again, probably to make sure I got out there quickly. I asked what was actually happening, but he couldn't give me an answer. More unmarked vans were starting to roll up. They were matte black with no plates on them. I could see one of them hissed. A handful of people in hazmat suits started filing out. Some of them looked like they had Geiger counters. Others were carrying what I thought were defibrillators, but larger, bulkier, with cables that looked more like restraints. I asked where EMS was. He said, "There were no injuries." I said, There are bodies in there." He looked at me again and said, "There were no injuries." He told me he forgot about something and that I needed to take it right now. He handed me a small sealed packet, dissolve on their tongue now. He stepped closer to me when I gave him a puzzled look. "You've been inside, you've been contaminated. This will stabilize you." I said, "Stabilize me for what?" He just repeated, "Now." I did it. I tore it open and let the strip dissolve underneath my tongue. It tasted like copper and dirt. A wave of nausea hit me almost instantly. Then I passed out. And then everything felt fine. "You'll feel a little disconnected," he said. "That's good. That's the filter setting in." I asked what the hell he was talking about. He spouted some nonsense jargon that I didn't understand at all, and I can't recall now. My head was becoming kind of light and fuzzy, something about amnestic bleed or outside of your perception, but I could be recalling wrong. When I gave him a blank stare, he told me, "Keep fucking moving and get out of my sight." I looked back at the mall. Lights were going out one by one, more vans pulling in. One of them had cages in the back. I don't remember getting home at all. I must have driven, but I can't really remember. Honestly, a lot of memories from that day are really lazy, and it's a miracle I can remember what I can. Even though I can remember the events, they almost feel not real in my head, like my mind is rejecting them somehow. You know how some people have different levels of imagination? I forgot what it's called, but it's some people can visualize full images and places, and some people can only see it partially. Then the real unlucky ones can't visualize anything at all. Usually, when recalling memory, I'm really good at it, except this. So, I'm taking from this the Stranger Things. So, even down here below, there's there's more tweets from around that time. They were about 6 to 7 feet tall and walked very slowly. They could turn their head around completely, and it seemed like they could change forms, like they didn't have any bones, and they could bend their body in whatever way. No fingers or feet, just arms and legs. They could also seemingly teleport. They weren't walking around normally, but instead disappearing and then quickly reappearing somewhere else. This allowed them to walk through some sort of glass displays in the mall and through walls you couldn't escape if they wanted. What the? Whoa. So he goes on in the forum. Um, the next thing I remember, sitting at the kitchen table with my folder open, pen in hand, already mid signature. I didn't even know what I was signing. It just felt inevitable. Most of the document was nonsense, tons of legal jargon. I think I got through the gist of it. The next day, Bayside was fully open again. There was no caution tape, no cops, no crime scene. It was like nothing happened. There was no trace of anything that occurred that day. Not a speck of blood or litter or any or any evidence of the panic that occurred. Even the broken glass from the star fronts was gone. Oh my god, let me get some water. Mm. Even the glass from the storefronts were gone. Interesting. Very interesting. Every pane was replaced. The news ran a segment that night. Minor fire caused evacuation at Bayside Marketplace. No injuries. Said something about the fire being caused by fireworks. I think they mentioned having 2 people in custody. Same BS story. They showed footage from earlier that day. Crowds walking through the plaza. I called my fellow officer, but it was disconnected. I tried going to his apartment, but someone else was living there. They said that they've been there for months. I went to our sergeant the next morning and asked if he had heard. He said to me, "Too long? You mean the guy from traffic?" He was, and I said, "No. He was pardoned here a few nights ago." He frowned. "You've been solo for the last month, right? Since Morales transferred out?" He clapped on the shoulder. "Maybe take a couple personal days. You've been running hard." So in Stranger Things, they have this Miami Mall incident that's very, very similar, man. I'm gonna have to watch that Miami Mall, or not the Stranger Things Mall incident, and see what I can pull from it, because there's always symbolism in these shows. Tell you that. Next up, this is from Jesse Waters. This is just an interesting piece on UFOs. Researchers say dozens of crashes have been recovered with 4 different alien species on board. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
We are not alone. The Pentagon released the UFO files a few weeks back, and we just found out over 1 billion people have visited the site. 1 billion. It's got to be a record. The War Department says more files will be released soon. UFO experts and top researchers have been investigating aliens for years. Their sources say dozens of crashed UFOs have been recovered, and what they found inside, shocking.
And do people think that there's one type of non-human intelligence that's visiting the Earth, or is there many, many types?
People who have been involved in recoveries have said
there are at least 4 separate types. Now, I have not had direct access to that, but I believe the people who I talk to.
4 different types of life.
4 different types of life.
4 different species of aliens. Another scientist called them Greys, Nordics, Insectoids, and Reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails like a lizard. Insectoids look like a praying mantis. The Greys look like your classic movie alien, and the Nordics look like a regular Swedish guy, but 7 feet tall. We haven't seen the evidence, but Pete Hegseth says more evidence is coming, and there are a lot of believers in Congress.
I have seen evidence in a skiff that leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion.
Releasing the files isn't easy. They've been hidden for years, and a lot of people want to keep it that way.
The problem we have right now is the deep state's fighting the president on releasing. He kept his word, and I suspect some of our not so friendly comrades and some of our alphabet agencies are slow walking a lot of the information. It's about power, it's about control, and that's kind of what runs Washington.
So why is our own government fighting so hard to keep these secret? Well, 12 scientists have either gone missing or died. Now, we don't know if that's related, but people are scared to talk.
One I thought was going to do an interview, and then a couple days before sent me a message saying, after further consideration and long talks with my wife, I decided I'd be forfeiting my life if I participated in your interview. And I thought that was like very unsettling message to get, obviously, but also very specific word choice, forfeiting my life.
Yeah, there's like a fight, an internal fight in the government, because I think the reason I think there's a fight, I'm gonna be honest, 100%, is some of these people in government are like Christian or Catholic, and they don't want to hurt humanity, and they don't want to like summon these things or make fake like craft and aliens and But there's another side of the rich and the politicians who actually want to do like rituals and summon craft and like fake that they're aliens and harm people and just turn it bad. And so that's part of like their idea. And if they can just, you know, avoid all that by just saying none of it's true, that helps them, because they're like, well, you know, like it's you know, causing global problems isn't always the best. We're gonna go down. Check this out. Funny little AI made of some acting like a girl to China. Next up, oh, LA mayor candidate Spencer Pratt just dropped a banger. Listen to this one. Yo.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I had to take a minute to run for mayor. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. In West Los Angeles, Palisades, my backyard is where I spend most of my days, feeding hummingbirds, relaxing all cool, avoiding all the bums outside of the school. When a couple politicians who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood, I got at one little fire, my mom got scared and said, "You're moving in with Harvey Levin in Bel Air." I pulled out from my lot about 7 or 8, and I yelled to the rubble, "Yo, ho, smell you later." I moved to my kingdom, I was finally there to sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah, Spencer Pratt is dropping bangers. Oh man. Hey, but conspiracy time. So we know about you know, Charlie Kirk's opposition, but let's go ahead and get a 2-minute breakdown of this.
Hello folks, Val Venus back again with another edition of Palm Pistol Ricky. Take a look right here. Between the baby finger and the middle finger, that black anomaly in there, I believe that to be the infrared white dot aiming device that is part of this U-shaped high-tech palm pistol. And then, of course, between the middle finger and the ring finger, we have the barrel of the palm pistol itself. Notice that after Palm Pistol Ricky squeezes off around and relaxes his fist, the components of this high-tech palm pistol become visible. You can see the separation between those 3 fingers. There's clearly 2 items there. One is definitely an aiming device and the other is the barrel of the palm pistol. This is what it is, guys. I'm just pointing out to you what I'm looking at close up here. Now, to further this, I want to show you what the device may look like. I think this is the device Palm Pistol Ricky used, a high-tech palm pistol. Take a look at Palm Pistol Ricky waving it around earlier in the event. As Palm Pistol Ricky was waving this weapon around, I believe he was activating the infrared white dot aiming device, because folks were recording Charlie Kirk, noticed on their phone screens a white dot was all over Charlie Kirk. It was on his arm. It was on his chin. Folks, it's clear that Palm Pistol Ricky was testing the white dot infrared aiming device, making sure it was functional. Let's look at Frank Turek's phone. Milliseconds before he was shot, you see a white dot on Frank Turek's phone. That phone picked up the infrared white dot aiming device, because the next frame is 2 white dots. One white dot is the infrared white dot aiming device, and the other white dot is the infrared coming from the bang.
You know what? That explained a lot. So I know about that white dot. I saw it, right? I saw that white dot where, like, I just didn't know what it was. So he actually gave the explanation that it was a white IR laser or white IR pointer, and that makes this really high level military. Next up, though, this is a read from a local that I picked up here in a Washington State forum, and this was just about a week ago. So the past few days in Pacific Northwest have been quite bizarre, to say the least. I've been logging into the vast Gifford Pinchot National Forest, where lots of weird stuff happens. Through the winter and now in spring, I moved out to do a job elsewhere, but Monday I was back in Gifford. Well, Monday, our skidder operator just up and refused to go back out into the unit to pull trees. He refused and would not go back out there. He was clearly scared and shaken up. Ostensibly, he came into contact with the Sasquatch. He parked his machine, told the side rod, then the side rod told me that he saw a Bigfoot. In my mind, I'm thinking, for the love of all that's holy, you're in skidder chase, that motherfucker. Then in the same area of Carson, Washington, the town I drive through to get to part of Gifford Pinchot where I'm logging, a jogger and a car both saw Sasquatch. Like, WTF. 2 days in a row, same area. I've worked 27 years in the woods and never seen a pile of shit. And in the last 2 days in the same area, there's been 2 sightings and one of the job I was working on. And now there's actually more to this. So it matches up with what's been happening in Ohio. So over in Ohio, there's been Bigfoot sightings. There's Bigfoot sightings all across the Pacific Northwest right now. And I think all of America. Oh, sorry. So here's a map. Seattle up here on the, upward, up left. Portland, bottom left. And I would say just about like 100 miles to the left of Goldendale probably is this Carson area. It's on Washington State side. And you know what's crazy? So in 1985, 1975, U.S. Army Engineer Corps, Washington State Military Encyclopedia. These are the areas where Bigfoot is also known to be sighted throughout these, like right here in the mountain ridges, like from this red dot upward. Yeah, this is right in line with what's been known by the locals for hundreds of years. Next up, prominent Professor Jiang exposes Washington's AI agenda.
Those are 3 things that China wants. America wants access to Chinese financial markets. Basically wants Chinese consumers to buy stable coins in order to finance the US debt. It wants to better control China's AI development. Why? Because with AI, China and America are not competitors, they're partners. Because as I told you last class, the entire point of AI is to create a surveillance state, okay? Now, America has technology, but China has a lot of people, and there's no privacy here. So in other words, what America can do is use China as a lab in order to test out surveillance technology that it could not test out in America. Okay, so America wants access to, those are 3 things that China wants.
Hey, you know how he just said China was a lab? What happened with COVID? Oh, these American scientists and doctors and politicians took something from America to be released over there first, just like you said, a lab. Very interesting. So right here is the Galapagos.
24/7. Why 98% of the islands are off limits to the public? It's because of places like San Cristobal Island. You know, the one named after that dog-headed Christ bearer, St. Christopher. And St. Christopher Island one of the lesser known islands restricted for environmental preservation. Bullshit. Now pay attention. There are ruins there that defy everything we're told about history. Not Polynesians, not South Americans, but something older. Locals told stories of giant dog-headed beings that once lived there, only to be driven underground after some kind of catastrophe. Oh, and the stone on that island, it has the same interlocking design as places like Machu Picchu, Sacsayhuaman, and Pumapunku. We're talking laser precision cuts that modern tech still struggles to replicate. And yet, the mainstream wants us to believe some primitive culture with no written language did this with copper chisels? Bitch, please! This video is for entertainment.
Yeah, I do think that some of these islands and some of these lands are very well restricted and off limits to the public because there are some ancient things that are bigger than normal life type things, whether it be bones or structures or animals or different type of flowers, or they're just things that are different, unique. Here's a small from Trevor Grassi.
See, most of these traditions were collected by Spanish priests and missionaries in the 16th century. One of the most important ones from Chiapas, from this region, is the story of Botan, who was a culture hero of the Sendal people. And according to this story, Botan came from across the sea from a place called Balum Chivim through the island of the 13 snakes. At least that's how the story was told to Bishop Núñez de la Vega, who was Bishop of Chiapas back then, in a manuscript called the Probanza de Botan, which was in possession of the bishop and has since become lost. And as the story goes, Botan and his followers established a great empire in this part of Chiapas along the Usumacinta River that had the city of Nachan, the city of the snakes, as its capital. Many people identify Nachan with Palenque, even though Palenque is technically not on the Usumacinta River, unlike Tierras Negras and Yaxchilan. And as the story goes, Botan made several journeys back and forth from his homeland of Balum Chivim to Balum Botan, which was the name of his American colony. And after one of these journeys, the story says that he found that his people had intermarried with the local population. They had taken wives, they had established families, and so they did not want to return, to go back with him. And so Botan, so the story goes, decided to leave, never to return. But before doing so, he buried all the records of his race, all the sacred books in a subterranean place, which the manuscript of the Probanza de Botan refers to as the House of Darkness. He appointed a caste of priests to guard these subterranean place. And it is said that the bishop, Núñez de la Vega, later found or was taken to the location of these House of Darkness, as some of the original custodians confessed to its location. And he apparently found there several jars containing manuscripts, idols, figures of the calendar, and he had all of them burnt on the square of Huehuetenango in southern Chiapas. So this story may also be one potential original Maya account of a whole of records What is perhaps unusual about this story is that whereas the manuscript describes the seat of this botanic empire as the region of Usumacinta, the place where the House of Darkness was allegedly found is pretty far away from here. It's on the Pacific coast of Chiapas, near Huehuetenango. So either the bishop was taken on a wild goose chase to a place that was not the real Hall of Records, or the real House of Darkness, or there are some inconsistencies in the story. But anyways, it clearly points to the existence of authentic Maya traditions that speak of the burial of knowledge at a secret repository, a secret place somewhere in Chiapas, whether it is along the Usumacinta River or more on the Pacific coast. And the fact that a certain group of people, a certain cast of priests and custodians were appointed with protecting these knowledge and those repositories probably for thousands of years, at least until the 17th century, when one of these repositories was allegedly discovered by Bishop de la Vega.
Yeah, so that might have been just maybe some of these families that were holding that knowledge had directed into a lesser record hall or something, and maybe they found like a smaller one.
It's hard to imagine that if these people have really kept a secret for centuries, maybe even for thousands of years, they would give it up so easily.
Yeah.
So it's far more likely, I believe, that they, again, took the bishop on a wild goose chase to another place that did in fact contain some objects, some artifacts, but was not the original Hall of Records.
Yeah, so the original one might still be somewhere here in Chiapas. And maybe that's not the same one that we're hearing about at Piedras Negras, but maybe.
Yeah.
It's got mixed up somehow, but that's awesome. Thank you.
We're getting to the Turtle Rock.
This is the Turtle Rock?
Awesome.
Yeah, so we do have other...
Sí, dame un momento más. So here we go to the Turtle Rock. It would have been one of the original entrances into Piedras Negras, into Yoquiba. And it contains the image of a large turtle, which was one of the royal emblems of the kings of Yoquiba, the kings of Piedras Negras, which also referred to themselves as the Turtle Kings.
Wow. Yeah, you can see glyphs right all across the middle here. It's amazing.
I was a little heavy on the finger right there. I clicked the add button too many times. Here's a recap of the New York City trafficking tunnels under Central Park from a couple years ago.
Ships Mercy and Comfort that were sent from Trump to New York. We just have confirmed information right now that they sent those ships, those highly equipped ships, to take care of children rescued from tunnel system under Central Park in New York. Children that were born in sex slavery in these tunnel systems. kept as sex slaves. They are deformed and completely shattered and broken. I just ask you to stand with these children right now and pray.
Yeah, so it's a friend of my mom's. She's a nurse. She's 69 years old. She volunteered through Good Samaritan, and they sent her from North Carolina up to New York City. So apparently, she is working in a MASH type unit in Central Park. And I don't know what all the details of what she told my mom. I don't know if it's more than what I've already told you, but she just said the thing with the kids, it's real. And I have to tell you, it's horrible. So horrible. And she said, please, everybody be praying for those children and for the medical people that are taking care of all this. So, but it's in Central Park as far as I know, and these tunnels from the maps.
Dude, I know somebody personally whose girlfriend is a nurse and knows other nurses, and she's in contact with one of the nurses at Central Park, and they say they're just rescuing kids that are severely screwed up, like they're sex slaves from birth kind of situation. Some of them are deformed. But she's 100% sure that she trusts her friend, and I know her personally. So it's not like fourth-hand information. It is second-hand. But she says the rescue operation has begun, and that's maybe probably what the ships are for.
You are not hidden. There's never been a moment you were forgotten. You are not hopeless. I will know.
I can't play that song or else I'll be copyright stricken, struck, whatever. So, yeah, I had to go through those. You know what's interesting? I think back of a movie, and one of the movies, it's Harold and Kumar, and they're over there going in like Kansas, Arkansas, like Alabama or something, and they go to they find just some hillbilly's house or whatever or something, and in there in the dungeon there's like this deformed kid. Like, it's very strange. It's a very strange thing that they even like put that. They're like, well, they got these people are holding deformed kids underneath their houses. Sounds very similar to what just happened there. This is I guess this is a video. Who knows? This is real. It says from a miner. Yeah. He saw a being on the other side of the caves. Those do look like some gray aliens. That's crazy. Crazy stuff. You guys see Chris Smalls? This is what we all should be doing right here. All right. So Chris Smalls was detained outside the Met Gala at protests targeting Jeff Bezos and Amazon's labor practices. Smalls organized the first successful Amazon union in the U.S. and was previously assaulted by Israeli forces while sailing to Gaza as part of the Freedom Flotilla. Check this out. Here we go.
What's going on, Jeff? Remember me, the fired Amazon worker that you signed off on the smear campaign, calling me not smart or articulate. Amazon is heavily invested in this genocide. They invest $7.2 billion into Project Nimbus, a project that is being used to fund and power the technology being used to surveil and target innocent Palestinians. What's going on?
That's powerful. Here he is again. So here's more from him.
It's a no-brainer. We got to escape this two-party plantation. It's that simple. I mean, obviously, this genocide didn't start with the Trump administration.
That's right.
We already know that this has been going on for decades. Whether it's left or right, they both have blood on their hands. So what's the definition of insanity?
Same thing over and over again.
Exactly. So how long are we going to do this? Another lifetime? No, I think right now this is a revolution, but the revolution starts with yourself.
That's powerful, man. The revolution starts with yourself. You spitting bars, bro.
It's a no-brainer. We got to.
He is speaking some truth, though. Like, how many times can someone tell you, wow, look, it's like Epstein. Oh, wow, it's like Hillary. Oh, wow, it's like Obama. Oh, wow, it's Trump. Well, like, how about it's like all of them? And they've been doing it because it's been like, oh, wow, it's Bush. Oh, wow, it's Clinton. Oh, like, they've been doing this for decades. And we shouldn't be, like, stupid. We shouldn't be dumb. We shouldn't be docile. We shouldn't be, like, held against our own spiritual, physical, and mental will just because society wants to cast you like that. Like, just because society wants to put you in a box doesn't mean that you stay in a box, dogs. Like, I personally think that everyone around should be able to empower themselves and really live on their best, skinny, healthy, or not skinny, but healthy, strong, fit, smart, But a lot of people don't. They choose a lower life. They choose a quieter life. They choose a dimmer, simpler life. They just want to say fuck it, because society's putting them like that. They're putting them in a fucking pedestal, and this pedestal is for pussies. That's how everyone acts. Everyone's like, oh, I'm better than you. It's all competition. Oh, more money, more cars, more fancy, more better everything. Yeah, no, fuck. It's so materialistic in a way that it's inverted from actually appreciating real materials. Have you understand that? Like everything's all fabricated, Botox and GMOs and just craziness, right? All across the board for men and women, and people are so devastated by the poisons, by the agendas, that they've given up. All fucking willpower is gone completely out of their brain, and I cannot stand people who are docile, who choose docility. And I understand that there's some aspects, well, they just don't know better, judge not for they not know what they do. And I understand that, but there's also people who are choosing it, and they are like wrecking it for the rest of the world. So like, we need to stand up. Everybody around needs to stand up more. Everybody around needs to like fight harder, work out more, eat cleaner, just think outside the box. I could probably sharpen up my podcast myself, but like, I'm self-made, so hopefully maybe someone can come out here and help, or like online, whatever the fuck. Anyways, we all need to be doing things, right? Everybody around could probably think of something, and they could be fucking getting on their family's ass. I definitely don't care who you are, a stranger, family, friend. I'm gonna tell you the truth, and I'm gonna get on your ass, and I'm gonna fucking like tell you what's what. I'm that type of guy, and I think a lot of people around need more of that in their life, and to be that force in their life, we do need to be able to take charge, take lead, take initiative when nobody around is doing that shit. Because how are we supposed to have leaders if no one's leading? How the fuck are we supposed to build a kingdom if no one's a king? And I don't mean that like, oh, be better than Jesus and higher than a spiritual king. Well, no, just be real, and like, how is society supposed to thrive if people are not even understanding community, right? How is water supposed to stay clean if people are pissing all over the fuck? If people don't respect water, right? There's a huge disconnection to reality right now, and this dude's right. Because Chris Smalls is right. Like, the time is now. Either we stand up and we start fighting back, or we take control of our life, or it's about to be taken control of. You know, everything, every part of our life. The Agenda 2030 and the New World Order with the World Economic Forum, their motto: "You will own nothing, you will be happy." Fucking like some real Nazis. You know, they pretty much are. Klaus Schwab and the rest of them, they're from Schwabenland. You know that, right? So here's a history lesson for all my conspiracy guys. Klaus Schwab is like the grandson of the dude who had Schwabenland over in Antarctica back in the 50s and 40s, where Germany and Hitler all ventured out to, and they created their own little kingdom down there, seemingly. And it's like seemingly also where, you know, maybe not exactly, maybe exactly. Who knows? Because it's always, so they always try to hide this what exact city, but where the Antarctic Treaty is, so around the same general areas, you know, and then even going one layer deeper, the Greater Treaty. So Klaus Schwab is definitely old time Nazi, or coming from those era of people, right? That's who's in charge. And what they are trying to do, oh my god, this gas issue right here, it's all what they want. This is all what they want, man. I cannot stand a magtard who's like, oh yeah, we definitely need $20 gallons to fight Venezuela. Fuck yeah, that's sticking it to them. What the fuck? Personally, we could see that the divide is here. When this old school KGB interview came out, you know, from like the 80s or whatever, where they said like multiple steps on how to weaken a nation from within, and then it can be taken over. Well, I think that's what's happening right now. I think over the last 10 years, our nation has been weakened spiritually. We see these boys want to dress like girls, and you know, we see girls not standing up for what's really a girl type shit, you know. So yeah, people are fucking weakened. People are so like sad in their mind. They don't want to stand up for what's right. Come on, man. Be happy that you're here alive every single day, that you woke up with breath. Be strong. Go work out. Go eat right. Like, don't just be like, well, you know, I don't want to eat anything, or well, like, I just want to eat junk. Both of those decisions are stupid. All right, you know, we can do a lot better as a society. And when we keep quiet, when we don't change our habits, when we don't promote better habits to our friends and family, we're not changing shit. And we're about to see the fucking future be changed for us, because, like, well, there's that motto: if you stand up, or if you don't stand up for something, you will fall for anything, right? That's 100% true. And there's another motto, another phrase: if you don't make a plan for your future, you will be part of someone else's plan. And we can see it happening right now, where people don't know what to do at all in America, because they didn't make a plan for what has already came, and now, well, they're under 100%, you know, the agenda rule, because they're just succumb to it. They don't know how to escape the trap, and everything they get fed from the mainstream or the news, they eat it up like candy, crack candy, because that's what the government serves. We're gonna get back onto Twitter right here. Let's go. Breaking: Tulsi Gabbard office just got raided by the CIA. Agents brought out dozens of boxes, files on the JFK assassination and MK Ultra, the CIA mind control operation, which she was in process of declassifying. Huh.
Just in, John. The CIA just raided Tulsi Gabbard's office. Agents hauled out dozens of boxes, files on the JFK assassination and MK Ultra, the CIA mind control operation, which she was in the process of declassifying. Today's whistleblower said it during his deposition, and Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna confirmed it moments ago.
The reason why this is troubling is, A, there was an executive order that the president had directed the full declassification of JFK, but then also to the MK Ultra files. The CIA famously has said that, all documents were released and other documents had been destroyed. So these are allegedly those documents that apparently never existed.
Can the CIA overrule the president? It's just in, John. The CIA just raided.
Yeah, man. There's a fight internally in the government. Some people want the truth to come out, and some people are trying to hide the truth because they're part of the fucking fabrication. Because they're part of the lies and manipulation. They're part of the evil, and they don't want their names exposed. Trump, Epstein. So this is a video from a nurse. Check this out.
COVID.
I was.
So which area are we going to start at? Why don't you just start telling us what?
It's very low. I'm sorry. This audio is pretty low. So let me see. I'm gonna have to probably re-download it, then get it up. I think though that is it, guys. Hey. You guys enjoy your night. I hope you guys have a great day. For tomorrow, if you guys listen to this in the morning, make sure to go down to my sponsors down below and make a plan for the future. Be blessed, be high. See you guys next time on the 509 Divine Pints podcast.